Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yeah. So what do we got? Oh, Mozart, our second to the last Mozart video number 29. Oh, the excitement. It's all palpable. It's in the air. It's in the air because it's kind of cold down here in the basement. But that's the way it goes. Let's start, shall we? Mozart, Complete Sacred Works with Harnoncourt. Well, this is a box that I always kept handy because every so often, in my professional peregrinations through the world of music criticism, I would need to talk about some ridiculously obscure Mozart sacred work. And here they were. So thank God I had them here. It's really amazing. It contains all the sacred music Mozart wrote in the course of his all too brief life, from the F major Kyrie Kerschel 33 that he composed in Paris in 1766 at the age of 10 to the Requiem. So it's the result of 20 years of close cooperation between Harnoncourt, Concertos Musicus Wien, the Arnold Schoenberg Choir, and many of today's most distinguished soloists. Now, as we all know, it's 13 CDs. A lot of Mozart's sacred music is just junk, and he hated it and didn't care about it, and we shouldn't either. But this box at least gives you a chance to decide which is which. His views must have changed between the time he was 10 and the time he died, and maybe not in the way people expect. So there you go. It's all there, and it's all very nicely done, and it's a really useful collection, which I don't think exists anymore, by the way. Then we've got La Clemennza Dito. Oh, yeah, with Hogwood. And Uwe Heilmann is Tito. Cecilia Bartoli is Sesto. Vitellia is Della Jones. Servilia is Barbara Bonney. Annio is Diana Montague. And Publio is Gilles Cachamay. It's a very, very good cast. You might wish that the orchestral playing and timbres had been a little bit more like yummy, but that's Hogwood and the authenticity thing. But this is fine. Gramophone loved it. Hogwood has assembled a quite remarkable cast, with certainly 2, perhaps 3, outstanding readings. Oh, what a strange comment that is. Who are doing the outstanding readings? Boy, is that a bad blurb. Well, it's now on Decca, and maybe you can still find it. Oh, yes. We have a lot of boxes in this batch, by the way. The Klemperer Mozart Symphonies. This was the older Klemperer edition reissue on 4 discs. You get Symphonies 25, 29, 31, 33, 34, 36, 35, 38, 39, 40, and 41. How do you like that in one breath? The Philharmonia Orchestra and the new Philharmonia Orchestra. They are wonderful performances, absolutely wonderful. Gorgeous, woodwind forward, as we've come to expect from Klemperer. Not fast, but not too slow for the most part. And incredibly transparent and clear and musical and delicious. Just wonderful. Murray Pariah does the early Mozart concerti. See, I got this because finding a separate recording of Mozart's earliest concerti, Kerschel 107, which are based on works by Schroeter, J.S. Schroeter, I think they are anyway. They're little tiny, number 1 is in 3 movements, the others are in 2 movements. This was a sort of a supplement, wasn't it, to his complete Mozart piano concertos. I don't remember if it was included in that box or not, or it later became included in that box, but it was separate at the time, so I got it at the time. And the time was 1984. So there you go. And Mozart, Beethoven. Oh, the quintets with Pariah and members of the English Chamber Orchestra. These are gorgeous. The members of the English Chamber Orchestra are major soloists: Neil Black, oboe; Thea King, clarinet; Anthony Halstead, horn; Graham Sheen, bassoon. Fabulous musicians all, and amazingly wonderful performances. Two glorious works for piano and winds. And it was a great disc to have both of them together. Usually you get both of them together. That's not unusual. And we've got, the late symphonies with Peter Moog. You remember Peter Moog, made some classic recordings, including Mozart, for Decca back in the 50s. And it was early 60s maybe. And then he decided to go to Tibet and find himself. And then he found himself. And then he came back and started doing Beethoven cycles, Mendelssohn cycles, and Mozart. For Arts, the Arts label, this small label with the Orchestra di Padova del Veneto. So you've got everything from Mozart from numbers 32 on, 31. Yeah, it starts with 31. It's on 4 discs. And they're very nice performances. It's not a great orchestra. And even Peter Moog, who had a nice presence and loved the music and was always very, very, musically inclined, does the music justice and believes in it intensely. And he's not going to make them a great orchestra, but they're nice performances. And so I got them to sort of round out our view of Peter Moog's career. Then we've got the complete piano concerto with Ashkenazy at the Philharmonia. He's conducting and playing, which I always think is a mistake, but you don't really notice it much here. I mean, it's very well done. The funny thing is, about this set, they're good. Somebody's really good. Some of them are really beautiful. Numbers 20, 21, 23, 18 is really good. The thing is that Ashkenazy just did so much. I mean, so much and so well. I mean, at a very high level of quality, but some people would say not the most exalted or sublime level of quality, whatever that means. But it's too much. So nobody paid much attention to these. There was the Barenboim cycle, there was the Pariah cycle, there was the Geza Anda cycle, and there was this. And it was very much the stepchild. Not deservedly so, because it's in many respects as good as those others. Everything has its pluses and minuses. So I got it. I'm glad I have it. I really am. Then we've got more piano concertos. On period instruments. Malcolm Bilson and John Elliott Gardner. The best cycle, I think, on period instruments. Some very, very fine performances. They're typical Gardner, Bilson, is Bilson. But what I mean is, Gardner-esque performances, you probably call them. That is, rhythmically taught, exciting in tempo, well played, disciplined, a touch humorless, mirthless. I can imagine in 17 and 22 or 15 with the Hunt finale, and they could be having a better time. Sometimes you feel that they're just trying to make a point because look at us, we're on period instruments, but they're very good. They're really, really very good. His cycles held up well, actually. So that's nice to have. Then we've got Geza Anda, which we've talked about. I don't know how many of these I have kicking around. I really don't. Several, because it's been issued and reissued all bazillion times. And it is a very fine Mozart piano concerto cycle, compromised only by some sub-fusk wind playing on the part of the Camerata Academica des Salzburger Mozarteums. They got better under Sándor Végh, for example. They were much better. They also brought in some ringers in the wind department, my sources tell me. But that's okay. I mean, it's a classic set, and it deserves all of the acclaim that it has received. And I don't know if it deserves having 500 copies here, but I've got a bunch. And last but not least, well, it's great to end up with concertos, isn't it? Because it was the form in which Mozart was absolutely supreme and really remains so to this day in terms of the piano concerto. Piano Concerti 19 and 20 with Sell and Sirkin, or Sirkin and Sell on CBS. Great performances. Remember these horrible covers? It was wonderful, wasn't it, when the major labels were giving away the greatest recordings ever made for nothing? Those were the days. They really were. Well, they still are giving them away for nothing, more or less, but they're just harder to find. And, it's hard to find nothing. Even if you look very hard, nothing, it doesn't show up all that often. But keep on listening, friends. One more to go. Take care.